what's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of The Money Room. So you your boy, Nam Diesel, founder of The Money Room. And I have my co-host here with me as usual, Tooks B. And we have Tola once again, Mr. Bitcoin himself. I'm not going to go into on his resume, but here, Tola is here, former IT professional, member of The Money Room. And, we're about to talk about
personal branding versus what is it, logo branding or company brand, right? So we're gonna talk about personal branding. Should we go with personal branding, or should you go with the company brand when it comes to your social media presence and promotion and all that?
Actually, no. Namdi, pose the question exactly how you said it. First time that caused trouble.
That caused the commotion.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I think
it was very long the way I put it in the group chat. But what I was pretty much saying was, when it comes to your personal brand, like say for example, Mark Zuckerberg is Mark Zuckerberg. When you hear that name, you think Facebook, right? So if he does anything, at this point it's kind of like Facebook. So my point was, do you separate yourself as the CEO, as a company owner, as whatever you want to call yourself, from the business? Or do you make yourself one with the business? In some cases, I think it makes plenty of sense. Like as Tola everyone chimed in, when I brought that question up, was, hey, for example, you have athletes. If you're LeBron James, if you're some kind of athlete, or even a rapper, say you are Rick Ross, Mr. Maybach Music, you're Jay-Z. Whatever you do as a rapper is also a reflection of your label, which is a business. So you are essentially a business. So you're saying, do you want to be a private guy and say, hey, okay, this is my business, and this is me, and kind of separate the two? Or do you want to be an embodiment of your business, which is essentially you being your brand? Example of people often use as people, it's the Kardashians. The Kardashians are the example of people who are their brand. Like, what is their business? Their business is pretty much them. They advertise themselves and they're their business. And one thing I think is an issue when people become their brand is, what's the longevity? What's the continuation? So say, for example, the whole business is all about me. Right? I am the business. If I die or something happens to me, where's that business, right? It's kind of like saying Apple, for example. Steve Jobs did not call Apple the Steve Jobs, blah, blah, blah. He called it Apple. So now he's gone, Apple is still able to survive on some level. But imagine if it's called Steve Jobs. He dies, Apple could attack. So I'm just saying, these are the kind of things you just want to think about.
This was your exact question.
I was about to read it too.
He said, "What do y'all think? What do y'all think about an individual being an actual brand for a business? Also, do you think is it necessary to separate your business / public social media account from your personal one? Thoughts?"
Yep.
That was the question.
But that's pretty much the gist of it. So you guys can go ahead, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tola.
I'm not even going to read my response last time, all right? Because it's so long. But so the first part is an individual is the brand. If you're starting and Namdi, you pose this question in the sense of if you're starting a business, all right? So you and your business are one. All right, you and your business are one. So that is one brand. And then the second part of the question is regarding your business identity and your personal identity. And to that, I say, as a new business, your personal identity and your business identity are one. When your business is established and it's a household name, I mean, I'm not talking about household name like Walmart, but if it's an established business, then you could slowly separate your personal identity away from your business identity. But from the beginning on, it's one identity, because no matter where you go, if you start a business, no matter everywhere you go every day, you're a representative of your business. Because you could strike up a conversation about your business anywhere, any point in time. So you can't be the person that, oh, you just ran into someone and you just told me about your business and all this. Then I stumbled upon your Instagram page and I see like a whole different person that's not even a representative of what I would expect of this business. That's why I believe it has to be one. There's no separating it. So your business becomes its own identity and its own brand that pushes itself. then you could walk away personally. But when you're starting your business, it's one. You can't say, I'm going to start a brand new business. I'm going to create a whole social identity for this business, and I'm going to keep my own private personal life. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because people will always associate you to that business. So if your personal identity, your personal brand is contradictory to the business ideologies and what people expect of the business, your personal brand will affect the business.
Good points. Very good points.
Now let me add my own little 2 kobo to it. Now I think
what's the value of 2 kobo now?
0.2 naira. But anyway, 0.02 naira. But anyway, here's what I think about that. I think when it specifically comes to starting a business, the first step is not anything that has to do with brand. Okay. Not let me say think. I actually teach this stuff. So this is what I would teach in my class. First step is always sales. Okay. So if you watch Shark Tank, if you watch any of these things, first step, do you have sales? Are you selling? If you're not selling, I don't know why we're having any other conversation. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine who called me today to get us some advice. He wants to start an NGO, and it was like, oh, how much does a website cost? I'm like, why are you talking about websites? Did you raise your first $1,000 yet? So the concept applies in any type of organization. If you're starting a church, you need to sit your first 10 butts in a seat in your basement first before we talk about what kind of logo, the name, any of these kind of things, as opposed to the traditional conventional way of most people. The way most people start with logo, they start thinking branding, they start thinking registering the name of the company, they start thinking website, right? These things that most people just start, but nobody, like the website becomes a ghost land. Nobody goes there, right? So I think the first step is always sales, because when you start making sales, it will also help you evolve into your natural state when it comes to branding. You see what I mean? Not everybody is comfortable with their face on a video. And I've seen gurus teach that, no, you must put your face. No, you don't have to. If you're not comfortable with that, you don't have to put your face on nothing. If what you're selling, your services, your app, whatever it is, if it speaks for itself, which is the case of Mark Zuckerberg you just mentioned, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't know who Mark Zuckerberg is. They know what Facebook is. There's a lot of people that don't know what Mark Zuckerberg, because that brand is actually Facebook. And
that's a good point. I like that point too. That just took me to Tom from MySpace. Remember Tom from MySpace? He was the kind of, it was like almost.
I didn't know that it was Tom from MySpace.
You didn't know Tom?
I didn't know.
You never know. You never heard of Tom from MySpace?
The Tom face that they did. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
The character, right? The character.
Yeah, everybody's friend. Everybody's
friend.
Right. So that just reminded me of how it's two different approaches. Mark Zuckerberg just Facebook, and the other guy said, "Hey, look at me. It was like the face on his brand." You know what I mean?
Right. So I've seen people create a character, like you just said, and that's actually the face of the thing, and it worked. And you don't know who they are. Lagbaja from Nigeria, right? We still, like, a lot of people still don't know what that person looked like. That's a brand right there. It's not his face. He can walk around town, a mall, and nobody knows who this big musician is. Right?
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool in its own way, right?
So I think it's a personal preference thing. I think we should always let the product, the service, what you offer the market, it should speak for itself. For me, it's a personal brand that I push because I talk, I teach, and I just get on, I just keep ranting, and it's comfortable for me to talk about all these different topics. So I just go at that, and it's comfortable for me to be consistent with it too. I tell people that position yourself for consistency, because that's the number one factor of all of this stuff. So if you make up all this big brand and you go design all this stuff, right, you paid a lot of money, but you can't be consistently doing what it needs to sustain that, then you're a failure. Right? So the number one key in all of this, I think, is consistency. So whatever brand you choose to do, is a personal brand, either a business brand, because again, we're talking from somebody starting from fresh. Mark Zuckerberg was in that dorm room, and the thing already blew up all over colleges before we found out, as Facebook. You know what I mean? So we couldn't say, hey, he started. No, he was designing something for everybody to use, like a social network. So it also depends on the type of product too, right? So there's certain type of product that, you know, like if I'm selling real estate, you know, if I'm selling real estate as a realtor, right? I can personal brand, and that could be my driving force, right? Some people are like, no, I need to build a team. I don't want my face all over anything. I just need to build a system that works, that people can duplicate, right? What's the face of McDonald's, right? So it's so many variations, and I think we should pick on each one of them and maybe dive a little bit deeper. You had a lot of argument, bro. You had LeBron James. You mentioned LeBron James here.
I was just about to say, before we go further with this, and to not be all over the place and speaking on different aspects, let's either pick a centralized thing that will.
Let's start narrow. Then we're gonna go wide. We're gonna start narrow. Then we're gonna go wide.
Yeah. Or let's build a scenario. Like in the chat, I was talking about it in the sense of like an athlete, you know. So let's pick a scenario and then let's tackle this question under that, because I feel it will be easier for the listeners to follow if we're all answering the question on the centralized theme.
Yeah, but I mean, as Took said though, you know, let's keep it, you know, centralized and everything. But I think a big part of it depends on what kind of business or what kind of product is being marketed or what's being sold here, you know. And I think if you're a DJ, for example, okay, of course, are you going to DJ? I mean, you could, right? As you said, like what's an example. But for the most part, if you're a DJ, you have to be the DJ because you're going to be there DJing. If you're an artist, you have to be the face of the product. And there's some things where it's almost impossible for you not to be the face. A few exceptions, like Baja, for example, but that's an exception. For the most part, you have to be the face when it comes to certain things. Now, real estate, for example, if you're a realtor, a lot of realtors do that too. They'll put their face in the pictures or in the cards because, you know, it's an easy way for you to recognize them and say, oh, this is my realtor, right? Or sometimes they'll do the whole system thing. So I think a big part of it depends on what kind of business. Some businesses don't require you to be known, to be out there like that, and some do. That's just really what it comes down to. So now, when it comes to saying, okay, if you're starting a business, could you be a separate identity from your business? I think you could, depending on what kind of business it is. Now, let's just photography as an example, because that's really popular now. A lot of people going around taking pictures, you know, doing that kind of stuff. I think it's almost impossible to separate it initially, for that one especially. And once you build your brand big enough, you have maybe some other people working under you, then you could do that, right? But for the most part, initially, you have to be one with your brand. But even with that one as an example, right? Photography, let's use that as an example, or anything that's similar to that. When you have that your photography business, it does not mean that because you put your pictures of your work on your whatever page you have for your photography, you're going to have that same account and you're going to mix it up with your personal stuff. Like say, because there could be so many conflicts. Say someone is a Trump supporter, right? That's a controversial thing in this day and age. Someone's a Trump supporter, and they're going around, they're taking pictures, and they're like, oh, I like this guy's pictures so much. They love the guy's pictures. They fall in love with his pictures. They want to use this guy's services. Then they go on his page, which is intertwined with his personal life, and they see in his personal life, this guy's a Republican and he's a Trump supporter. That same person who was about to get a service from this guy, right, might say, you know what? Nah, I'm good, because there's so much animosity and there's so much conflict there. Now, let me segue a little bit. Look at Eminem. Eminem recently did a rap, right, where he went against Trump and said, you know what? If you're a fan of Trump, don't buy my album, blah, blah, blah. So that shows you how there could be conflict between personal stuff and business stuff. So, you know, what do you think of that?
Oh, so can't hear you. Namdi, can you hear him?
Okay, better now. Yeah. I pressed the mute button by mistake. I was just having a conversation, and the thing about, you were just talking about personal business, right? I was telling her that I take my business personal, you know, and I think people do business with people they feel like they know, like, and trust. Okay, which is where the branding thing comes in, which is why for some people, when they see the face, they're a lot more comfortable. Case in point, Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, right? Those guys are,
I like them.
They're capitalizing on, there's a method to the madness. They're capitalizing on the character they've created. This strike, like Grant Cardone, this striking on the, you know, on like, no, forget that, you know, that kind of like, no, like all this banters and stuff, right? People fall in love with things like that on a subconscious level, and they start feeling like they trust you. They know you, like you, and trust you, and all of that is what is all of that. Branding is the product of all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's part of sales too. All those
all sales.
They're almost like manipulative strategies that they use to, you know, from sales, and they use that same kind of stuff. So when I say I like this guy, it's not like I'm blind. I know exactly how these guys work. Right. I like him in terms of what they do. Like, you know,
what they're doing. Yeah, exactly.
I like Tony Robbins. I like him too. You know, but at the same time, a lot of that stuff, you know, on the surface, people don't know. But yeah, they do some quote unquote manipulate the stuff to get people to like, you know what I mean? But I see that. I see through that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me take 5 minutes out of your lives real quick.
This guy's building a brand right here. He's talking about taking 5 minutes out of my life.
because from your responses, I believe my response is in a different context from both your responses to this question. So let me try to put like an example out of there. I'm just taking 5 minutes. All right. So I like to use the athlete standpoint. Okay. An athlete is in the entertainment business. Right. All right. So let's use LeBron James, for example. All right. LeBron James, the business he's in is in the business of playing basketball, entertaining us through basketball. So his basketball skills is, let's put that as his business brand. All right. Him on the court, that's his business brand. The better he's playing basketball, the better he's growing his business brand. Now, because his business brand is growing, all right, that opens doors for his fans to support him personally. And to me, that's his personal brand. Now, to differentiate, his business brand is getting him deals with like Nike, you know, because they're there for his, they want him on the court and everything. But like Sprite, for example, Sprite has nothing to do with basketball. Personally, most athletes will tell you not to drink Sprite so you don't cramp up. All right. But his fans, because they support him personally, his personal brand is what Sprite came from. They came for.
That's why I said I will never tell you to drink Sprite. I'll ask you.
All right. So that's how I'm seeing the personal brand as a. People are there for you. Your business brand, his business brand, people are there for his basketball skills.
Right.
But his personal brand, they're there for him. So as I'm saying, they have to grow together. Because they grow together.
Yeah, but they didn't grow together. They didn't grow together. The example you just gave.
No.
They did not grow together at all.
Let me
something presented itself first.
Let me finish. Yeah, the business, his business brand.
No, the business didn't even present itself first.
No, it's just the skills.
It's the skills,
yeah,
the product.
But you guys are missing what I'm saying. Remember, I put his skills with his business brand.
Okay.
Remember, I did that. Remember,
okay.
It's because he's on the court.
Okay.
That business.
Right.
All right. So his skills is his business. That's the business brand.
Okay.
You know? So that is what brought people to him personally, on the personal level, to support him personally. So companies come to him because they're like, we want you as a person. So that's his personal brand. So now he's making money from his business brand and his personal brand.
Right.
That's why he could have commercials like Sprite, because you get what I mean?
So what are you suggesting for somebody who is starting, which is where these questions came from, right?
No, yeah, that's why I'm saying, when you're starting, don't off the back think, you know, I'm going to have both separately. They have to grow together. They have to go together. One is pushing the other. Then when your business has reached a place where it's established and it has its own foundation, then you could separate your personal brand. So you could gain from your personal brand also.
You know what? Let me just chime in on that real quick, because you touched on LeBron stuff before we go too far away. I think what you're saying applies to anybody who is a celebrity or who's popular on any level, period. Doesn't matter if you're LeBron James or if you're Rick Ross or you're popular for being Snooki on freaking reality show. Once you're out there and you're famous, you can always market that and use that to make money. You can always sell a product for you. They can say, okay, come and endorse you for something. You know what I'm saying? So that's a given, no matter what it is. You know. So that's one thing.
Yeah,
but are you saying, Tola? Are you saying that someone cannot start from a personal brand. Like you just put yourself out there, personal brand, because LeBron James did not start from personal brand. It was the skills that was just that good that took him to a point where even if he was that stupid that he doesn't see it, somebody's gonna say, wait, we're gonna monetize your look and everything, right? Right? Yeah. But does everyone have to do that? Because everyone, even an average athlete, is not LeBron James. You know what I mean? Does everyone have the ability to do that or have skills that are good enough to do that?
See, it's not in a sense of the general public. Whatever you do, you can't just come out and say, okay, I want to monetize my personal brand. The reason why you can't do that is because nobody knows who you are.
That's exactly what I said. So once you're a celebrity, it's easy to do it.
But it's not just celebrity. You could start a company. You could start a company doing anything. But because of that, that will bring you notoriety in some type of crowd, some type of setting. And then that's how you're building your personal brand. You can't just flat out come out and say, I'm going to have a business brand and then a personal brand. They have to be together because something has to promote something, you know?
I think I agree with you to a certain point. I think what you're trying to say is that you can't just be a fluff and just say, hey, right, I look nice. You know, even though models can do that if you really look nice. But
no, again, remember, models can't just do that either. Because
they can't do that either, yeah.
They could have the look, but part of the business is being able to model.
Yeah, right. That's put in some kind of work. I think
not everybody can model. You still have, like, if you're doing runways, you still have to be able to walk.
There are some skills that crosses a line that's almost fine line between skills and fluff. Kim Kardashian, case in point. Okay, some people look at her as there's no skills, and that's where I say people are crossing the line. Because that doesn't stand out as what we conventionally know as skill. Does not mean
her skill is all wrapped up in her image of
Let me.
Marketing. I think her skill is her marketing, is in her marketing herself off of nothing almost. That's her skill.
No, but nothing is nothing. But nothing is something.
Let me bring the Kardashians into my LeBron James analogy right here. All right, the business that they were in that brought their personal brand, their mother created that business, and that was the Kardashian show. Yeah. And from then on, now they each individually have a personal brand that personally, apart from the Kardashian show, which is still running, on a personal level, they could monetize their personal brand. That's why they each have their own apps. They each have their own. Remember, they came to the public's eye together.
But at what point do you call somebody starting off as a personal brand fluff? Like it's nothing. At what point do you say, bro, what do you have to offer? You know, are you just gonna? At what point have you seen an example of somebody trying to do that? So we can. Because I agree with you that it has to. You got to bring something to the table. You have to grow together.
Yeah, exactly. See, I don't want to corner myself, but I'm gonna have to because you have to have a business. Okay, you can't just sell you. You know, like a motivational speaker. I mean, yeah, on the surface he's selling you, but he's really not. He's selling his motivational speaking business. So, and when I say business, it's not just like, you start a company, but it's what you're doing. You know.
So when you say you corner yourself, you mean like it doesn't exist. That if somebody is like, what's the English of Takiti? Like some assaulting, right? In the middle of a video, and the video goes viral, and CNN is paying $20 million for the channel, right? CNN sees something there, but to some people it may feel like, what did he do? He did nothing. Like, really? What about all those camera positioning, all the efforts to even put a video on YouTube? Sometimes it takes a lot.
You see that example you gave, all right? That person that was doing the flips, doing the flips through the video, okay? He didn't have a business because it was a random person that just came doing the flips. Then CNN interviewed him, and they probably paid him for that one interview. Then maybe you get more interviews. So that guy legitimately just monetized his personal brand without a business at all. like
so it's possible. So we're saying it's possible in this time and age.
Yeah, it's possible. That's why I didn't. That's why I said I don't want to corner myself, but I was kind of with that statement. But it's possible. But things like that, I mean, personally to me, it's like a fluke. Like, I mean, you're just doing flips. But why would CNN want to interview you because you did a flip?
Exactly. Someone have to be really, really special about it for them to interview about it.
You get what I mean? Like, remember that,
whatever.
Remember that Antoine Dodson or whatever.
Right.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah.
Like, how many paid interviews? I mean, I'm pretty sure some interviews were done that might have been paid or not, but I mean, so
he monetized that shit. He monetized that.
So a personal brand did pop up, but it still went nowhere. I mean,
I think traditionally,
I think it bought a mansion from his mom with that shit, bro.
I think traditionally there's a level of disrespect for the word value. Okay, value. Number one is in the eyes of the beholder. We always must remember that. Our opinion does not count. We test them. That's why I think anybody coming into the market to do any type of business, there are ways for you to test the market without investing that much and know if it's an idea that's going to pop or not. And you can tell. And a lot of people, one thing that most people have outside of opinions is ideas. Ideas are all over the place, but what's not enough is ideas that actually sell. But it's actually easier these days to test the market. You can actually place an ad on Facebook and see if something has a response on it or not. You can actually do that these days for $20, for $40. You can actually test just an idea to see if something is going to happen or not, if people are interested in this. And there are data you can pull up online to see if people are asking questions about a certain topic or not. Okay, so my point there is this: we have a disrespect for value. That's anybody that you see question, what does Kardashian do, has a disrespect for the word value. Or anybody that say, how did Cardi B made it and become the top rapper in the country out of nowhere, out of being a stripper? You have a disrespect for the word value, and you are arrogant to a certain level. You think it's your opinion of value that matters, and value has.
I think we're drifting a little bit off topic here. I think we're going a little off topic.
We did.
But
my point there. Let me land.
At the same time, I think when it comes to the whole value thing, I don't think value is being disrespected.
No, let me finish. Let me land.
I think that those people, I think society is also evolving to a point where things that people are.
No, it's not just that. It's not just that.
Are not worth it. So those people like are actually disrespecting what value is.
Wait. It's not just that. It's not just that. The reason why I said that is because we're talking from personal branding. Okay, somebody can put their face and then start going viral. You said something earlier. You have to realize that there's a reason behind it. They didn't just start going viral. It's something that you said it. You said it's a reason why CNN paid $20 million, right? There got to be a reason for that. Because you didn't see doesn't mean there's no reason there. Because you didn't see doesn't mean there's no value there.
It's about views. It's about views sometimes. If something gets viral and the people just start watching it, and it could be a simple fact it was posted in the right place at the right time.
Do you see value in views?
There's also luck. So there's luck. So
do you see value in luck?
Luck is not a value. Luck is something. It's not a recreation of. It's not something you could recreate. It's chance.
See, again, you don't have to be able to recreate it to call it value. If you listen to Warren Buffett enough, you will hear him say, "I got lucky" a few times. You will hear
people get lucky.
There's value in views.
No, there is value in views. What I'm trying to say here is that the only reason why I've seen my post something might be because they had views, but what a person did might not be anything different from what a whole bunch of other people are doing. Just that. So what they were doing was not any more valuable than what the next man was doing, right? Mm-hmm. It just happened to be lucky at the right place at the right time, or said that on the right place.
It could be, but again, that's why I said there's value in luck. That's why they said there's value in luck. That's why we all pray. If you pray, you wake up in the morning, you pray for favor, because there is value in that. Because that can make all the difference in the world. You could be putting the same effort and you take off and the other person doesn't take off, and it could be for multiple different scenarios of reasons.
That happens.
So that's what I mean by disrespect for value, and I'm saying that from a very fundamental standpoint. Like, we don't even have to think too far when we're talking personal brand. The reason why I brought that up because we talked earlier about also part of the conversation was because I was saying professors get paid for things they don't necessarily practice because there's value in information. A lot of people don't value information. That's why they don't read. A lot of people don't value doing research.
Remember the professor thing when I mentioned that in the chat was.
Right.
They're in the business of teaching. Then you don't have to. They're not telling you to do as I do. all right, their business is to tell you, to teach to you. That's it. So it's not their personal brand at all. That's their business brand.
No, but now, it could be. It could be. You could come online and do that. You can position all that online. That's my point about that.
No, but it's still teaching. It's still teaching. That's the business brand. It's not a personal brand.
No, you can actually make it a personal brand, and you can come online and teach what you know. Okay, but you could still put your personal face in front of it. Okay, and that your personal face and your character and who you are as a person, or the way you move, or the way you talk banters, can drive sales. It can make all the difference in the world between this teacher and that next teacher. That's what we're going back to value.
But you see, to me, personal brand is you monetizing you, whereas it's not associated to what you're getting paid for, like what you're doing originally. You know, like I gave the athlete example, is like, you know, marketing soda is not in the same business line as you on the court or on the field.
Yeah, but there's attention involved in that. Obviously, LeBron James can catch attention.
Okay, time out.
So that's personal brand.
So to go back to where we kind of started from, I think it depends on what kind of business it is. So we could agree on that. So business will definitely require a personal brand more, and some do not necessarily require a personal brand. So now it might become a matter of how you want to do it. Now let's go back to MySpace, for example. The guy who had MySpace Town, he had to do an approach where he put himself on the front of his product. And he had Mark Zuckerberg, who did Facebook, which has also been very successful. In which case, he did not put himself on the product. Now, I'm not saying that the reason why Facebook was more successful than MySpace is because of one or the other. It just happened to be that way. We don't know. It could be, but we don't know. That's an unknown. But what it comes to, as far as when people put their personal brands when they don't have to, that's a matter of passion. If you're really passionate about something, you don't. Sometimes I think you'll be interwound. You might not really care about the personal brand. So if everything that your business is and your business encompasses, like say you're a personal trainer, right? So a personal trainer, you want to figure out how to lift and do certain things, then guess what? You're probably going to be big. You're probably going to be strong and whatever. If you want to talk about investments, or you're a stock trader, there's a good chance you're going to also be good at stock trading, good at making money. Different kind of things. If you want to talk about if you're a basketball coach, there's a good chance and so on and so forth. But the point I'm trying to get to is, I think what separates the two, because now when there's certain brands, there's certain things that require you to be the face, right? But I think the question mark becomes to the ones where you don't have to be the face, but you choose to be the face. And I think that comes
to be the face.
Yeah, I think that comes to a point where it's both intertwined because of the passion. The person kind of
there are times
all they care about is that kind of business. For example, one second, and the last point is, for example, if for example someone has a business, right? This the CEO of Tesla, right? We know who he is, but he did not necessarily need us to know who he is, right? And if you see Tesla, not everyone knows what's his name. Not everyone knows who he is. Like, he's popular now because Tesla is so big, but he's not. You can't call him the face of Tesla, right? So there's some things like that. Right? At the same time, someone else might start a car company one day, and they might want to be the face of the car company, right? So sometimes it's a matter of how much you want to wrap up in it. Because, for example, you might want to have how do I put it? Some people might make money from a business, right? So it's like you go to work. Some people, their work is who they are. You could be a coach, and all you know is fucking basketball. That's all you ever talk about. And some people, okay, this is how I make my money, but that's not what I'm all about. I have other things to do. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's why sometimes people separate the two, because they have other things that they care about. And some people that's what they're totally about. And none is right and none is wrong, but I think that's what separates the two.
I want to bring in a word.
Some people don't. Some people have a separate life outside of that.
I want to bring in a word, okay? And the word is leverage, okay? If LeBron James is not leveraging the attention that he captures just being LeBron James for other income source like money from Sprite and all these other things, that would be stupid. You and I will call him stupid. You know what I mean? That's just fundamental, makes sense, right? Logically, right? Just off of leverage. He has the brand. He has all this attention. That's that. Sometimes where you start from is not where you're going to end. The example you've given, right, is people who have skill sets and they blew up at entertainment level, right? Entertainment generally will look like that when you get to a certain level. I do think that there are times that you start fresh. right? And even though you didn't choose to do personal brand, the best thing for you to do is personal brand. I may come in as a consultant and be like, you're a very interesting character. I think you should start talking about this stuff on YouTube. I think every business must be doing content marketing. I think that, okay? Because it's additional exposure for your business. What am I going to say? I don't know. Talk about, answer people's questions. Frequently ask questions about your business. Do something, you know? You already have a business. Doesn't mean you don't have a business, but that business was not going to take off as fast. Again, it's leverage, okay? It's leverage. YouTube is there and people are searching for all these things on YouTube, right? So why not create that exposure? You may say, but it's not really me. I say, listen, you're going to be all right because you paid me as a consultant. I would advise you that way. If you're absolutely not comfortable, it will tell, and that may kill your brand too. I may be like, you know what, if you're not comfortable, let's go another approach. You know what I mean? You may decide to record your screen or do presentation, like full-blown presentation, and just put that on YouTube, like a not motion picture, but pictures with voices over them, right? So again, back to what I said at first, it depends on who you are. It depends on where your strength, okay, it's a strength and weakness thing, okay? It depends on where your strength and weakness is. Wherever your strength is, you absolutely must leverage it, but with a balance of the technology that's available today, which is, again, things like YouTube, Facebook, all these platforms that you can now enter with massive exposure without having to go pay ABC, CBS, and NBC. You see what I mean? So that's my point on that.
I like the strength. I like the strength and weakness one. I think it's not everyone is different. You know, everyone has their own strength and weakness. Like some people, they're good on the radio. Some people are good on TV. Like some people say, oh, they have a face that's good for the radio because they're better off just talking and not be seen. And some people are better off being seen. So they're different. And it's a matter of different approach. And some people might work out better for them if, you know what, they don't have to be seen. So like it's a matter of your style and what you enjoy. Personally, we are here because we enjoy this. We like to talk. We like that kind of stuff. But it's not for everybody. Nobody has to talk. Nobody has to be on TV. Nobody has to do that. So I'm not going to say I want to force someone to do it one style. It might not be your style. You might need to maybe hire somebody to do that for you and do something else. You know what I mean? So
I think